I got you, babe. Good morning. It is Groundhog Day, everybody. Once again, we can't come to work we can't come to the show any Monday without it being Groundhog Day. Every day
I know, I'm loving it.
for the past 3 months, it's been the last 3 weeks. I'm sorry, it's been the same
It
story.
feels like the last 3 months.
Of course. Well, welcome back, everybody. Yeah, episode 464 of the two 465 of the Two Dumb Yinzers.
Wow, see, even you Steelers can't execute, Ryan can't execute, no one can execute.
I'm like helmet head over here. I can't execute.
Oh,
Good
I
morning. Yeah, it is like Groundhog's Day. And you know what,
it's
Mike? I
bad.
don't know if it's going to change. This is the worst that I've seen this team play in a long time.
Oh, it's bad, dude. It is so bad. I don't no one knows what to do. You
Even
can you can fire the coaching staff, you can change all the players. It's still gonna be bad for a long time.
when the coach is standing there with the depleted look on his face, with no ideas, his hands in his pocket, just looking around like
I've never seen him so defeated.
I
Have
can't
you?
believe that I'm
Me
here. I
either.
can't believe I'm a part of this mess.
He's like, what the, like you said, like what do they work on in practice? That's watching Tomlin's press conference. He's probably thinking like, we do this in practice. Why can't we do it out here?
I'm
That's
not
like all. That's all that was going through my head. It's like your comment of what do they work on in practice, and him saying we're just a bad football team. I'm like,
Well, I do want to start off the show by saying his comments directly after the show I found most amusing when people were looking to him for answers and trying to figure out what the hell happened. Mike Tomlin says, I'm now seeing that the Steelers are playing bad football. This, this is after 2.5 bad seasons of football. I think the problem's even deeper than we knew. Uh, he seems clueless at this point. As Mike pointed out, he has no clue, nothing. No, there's no.
I've never seen him look this defeated in this loss. It's like,
I've never seen a professional coach have that look. The body language of this team was real bad. It's
mm-hmm.
making me wonder if the players are throwing the season. It makes me wonder.
that I had like a couple friends text me during the game. And it's like, did the players just quit in the middle of the game? Did they just like give up? A couple people were like, this has like we're done with the season. We're done with the coaching stuff. We're just done, and we're gonna grind it out and just get out of here. Call it a year. It's like when you see you see this a lot in basketball and hockey. Like teams just quit on a coach. This is like the effort that we saw from them. You're watching offensive linemen. Eh, there's my block. Watching defensive linemen. There's my hand fight. Get through. You're just seeing people quit left and right on this team.
I've never, I'm not gonna lie. I've seen this, and it happens to really bad teams, and it happens to really bad teams frequently. Actually, if you would watch, just a team that, is unsuccessful year in year out. This is the look they have.
Mm-hmm.
It's you know, listen. A month ago, when the team was 7-4, and you were saying to yourself, you know what, this isn't really a good team, and I don't want to see them in the playoffs. You know what? That team wouldn't have been so bad to see in the playoffs. This team here, you can't even hope. You can't listen. If something would happen and all these teams would screw the pooch and
Yeah.
the Steelers would somehow fall into the play, good heavens, could you imagine this team in a playoff game against a team that's playing playoff level football?
Yeah.
Mike, we are a bad team. We suck at everything.
Yeah.
The offense
Well,
is way too predictable.
oh
I
my
mean,
God, yeah.
these backups have been on this team way too long to use that excuse anymore. That they're come on. There's
Yeah.
this
It
is the
is
coverage is
bad.
terrible. These guys are clowns, and as you said, Mike, it makes you wonder what they do all week. It's not prepared for football because what
Like,
we just
well,
saw after two losses to two win teams to come out and lay that egg against an Indianapolis team that was not that good. Believe me, I thought that this team was better than what they were. From what I seen, that was a very average team at best that just had their way with the Pittsburgh Steelers on Saturday, and it was ugly.
It was really ugly, and I think it was what at the end of the half when we were what was the score at the end of the half? Oh wait, after we were up 13-0, and then all of a sudden they get that long touchdown drive, the Colts do, and that's when the game fell apart.
It had
You
to be
know,
the 50s uniforms, I'd have to say, that did so.
that's what it felt like. It's like we got up 13-0 and we just stopped playing. Like we come out, we looked, okay, that first drive didn't go the way we wanted to, but they showed they were moving the ball, doing stuff what they needed to do. And then like it's like the same thing for the past 3 weeks. They start off pretty well and then they just fall apart. It's like the minute they get punched in the mouth, the players don't know how to respond anymore.
And that was
That's
the
the thing. They get
strength
punched
of
in the
this
mouth, they don't know
football
what to do.
team, because the strength of this football team early on in late last season was, you know what, we're going to go on the ground with you, we'll fight you, we'll bite you,
Yeah.
we'll pull your hair, and you know what, we're kind of good at that, and we'll find ways to win
Yeah.
sometimes. That's not the case anymore. This team
No.
has no somebody ripped the heart out of this team.
Yeah, I feel like the players just got tired of having to play that way. But that's all their talent level is good for. That's what it's looking like. The talent level is you're gonna have to grind it out, and they're just tired of grinding it out. And coaching needs to change and players need to change.
And as I
It's
said
as
to you, I
simple
sent
as
you a
that.
text
But it's
message the
going to
other
be
day,
so easy. It's easier just to replace one guy or
and I
like a handful of
say
guys
in this text,
in
Mike, I said,
coaching.
when was the last time you could even remember us out coaching a team? When a team gets out coached by my,
Yeah.
you know, we could go on and on and on with his records and this and that, but you know, I can you really sit back and say, oh well, I remember when we definitely out coached.
You know what? It's going to be the last time I remember is when we had who was the crazy maniac offensive coordinator? Todd Haley. It was the Todd Haley era of the offense is when the last time like the offenses and defense were out coaching people. Then like the coordinators just kept getting worse and worse and worse.
It's real bad. And I didn't think that it was this bad. I honestly didn't. I thought even if they had an ounce of fight in them, it would have been a little bit better than what it was. Mike, this is these guys
Yeah,
threw in the towel. I
they
refused.
did.
I refuse to believe that this team has any interest in continuing this season, and especially
No.
trying to win, execute, and beat other teams. I just,
Yeah.
Mike, it's
It,
from what I've seen, you learn a lot from body language, and you can tell a lot from body language, and it's real bad.
dude, like look at some of these plays I was watching like after the fact and people were posting like the all 22 footage. Look at offensive linemen. Like on one play, I counted 3 out of the 5 linemen just with their hands just down,
Oh,
not
our line's
blocking any.
bad.
Like you had Broderick Jones blocking someone, you had Mason Cole finally blocked someone, and then like uh who's the left tackle? Dan Moore like chipped someone, then looked for someone else and no one's there, and he just kind of wandered around. And Najee had 2 holes to run through and runs right up Mason Cole's ass. I'm like, what? That's just the epitome of you quit. You quit. You had players just loafing around, players not reading the play in front of them. It was there were a lot of quitters on that team. Not everyone quit. You saw some people battling to the bitter end, but there was a lot of quitters on that team.
You
And
know who put up the most fight this weekend, Mike, on his Pittsburgh Steelers team? One guy, Tyreek Carpenter, and unfortunately, it was his girlfriend that he beat up.
I was
Tyreek,
going to bring that
um,
up. I was going to bring that up.
Tyreek Carpenter is apparently the only one that still has any fight left in him.
I was going to go with Allen Robinson hustling to the very end. I was going to go with can't be George Pickens because my man gave up on the second interception. That first interception where he got out, where he got mossed, he ran back and went up and destroyed that defender trying to knock the ball loose. I'm like, all right, cool. Then the second one, he just gave up. And then he gave up from the rest of the game. Like Allen Robinson, Deontay Johnson, they played with heart. TJ Watt played with heart throughout the game. I'm trying to Keanu Benton played with heart throughout the game. I'm trying to think of anyone else who really played with heart throughout the game.
There's so
I'm
many.
struggling.
There's so much to say, even about these guys you're mentioning. I mean, there
Even the
really
ones who
isn't
played
enough.
with heart didn't play that well.
You're right. They didn't. Even TJ Watt, who had 2 sacks,
2 sacks, 2 tackles, 2 quarterback hits.
he didn't even look good.
No, it was after like the first at After their first touchdown drive, the Colts' first touchdown drive, everyone just kind of threw in the towel. Which, like you said, last year we battled back. That team fought and scrapped
They were
the entire
fighters
year.
that had a fight. They
This
had a
year,
fighting mentality.
we were fighters and scrappers for how long, and then they just threw in the towel. That just I
Mitch Trubisky's a slug. He can't move. He got sacked 4 times, I think, something like this.
he
We
grips
we
it and
we
rips
were
it. He's
concerned
not a
about
starter
Kenny
in the
rolling out
league.
the wrong way and getting
We
sacked.
got Mitch
This
who just
guy
stands.
doesn't even move. He doesn't even
No,
move.
didn't even move.
Bruh, you got big, fast, strong guys coming down. You got to at least move.
Yeah, it's ah. I told you I was going to
Oh,
try and devil advocate this thing on one side, and you said good luck. I think I failed
well, like there's
because there's nothing to be positive about in this game
listen.
other than that hit by Kazee, which I'm sorry, that was a good hit. It's not his fault that the quarterback can't throw. That's
It's
my
not
bright.
it's not his fault the NFL's soft anymore.
I agree.
Like
I
that
agree.
to me,
That was my favorite play.
that was
Mike
the
Mitchell
turning.
said this 10 years ago.
That
Or a
was
couple
the
years
turning
ago.
point. Yeah, you're right, Derpy. You're right. But that was the turning point of the game. Like if you watch the play of that hit, he's following the ball the whole time.
Mike, besides for Kazee and Carpenter, nobody else on this team wants to hit. They're all about the hit, those two guys.
Yeah.
Listen, a lot of things. In case you're unaware of what we're talking about, the Pittsburgh Steelers lost on Saturday to the Indianapolis Colts, pretty much in a must-win situation.
Which all the players said we're treating it like a playoff game, and
Oh.
apparently they did.
Can you imagine
They gave up.
if that group of guys go into an actual playoff game and play against somebody good on the right? Come on.
This was like
And I'm gonna let me play devil's advocate just for
oh
just
Christ. Oh God, no.
Oh, God,
This is bad when Ryan's playing devil's advocate.
Well, here's the thing, guys. Since we haven't finished lower than the Browns since 1988, that means we haven't finished in last place since 1988. So maybe, just maybe, we're overreacting just a hair here in Pittsburgh. So with that said, yes, there's a lot of things we're going to talk about. There's a lot of problems and a lot of bad things that's been happening with this team. But on the other hand, let's just say we finish in last place. You know what? Law of average says eventually that's going to happen. So on one hand, people got to calm down. Okay.
Yeah.
Life isn't, come on. The apocalypse is going to happen. It's not going to be because of this.
And like, weren't people saying though this isn't a good team? They're lucky to be winning games now that they're playing bad football, which is everyone said they were a bad team. Now everyone's even more irate. Like the same people that are irate now about how bad they're playing, they were all the ones saying especially the media in this town, oh, they're lucky to win these games. They're lucky to win these games. They're a bad team. They're a bad team. Then it's like, well, they should beat these teams because they're bad. Oh, that they lost to these bad teams. You were saying the Steelers were bad teams, lucky to be 7 and 6 and whatever we were at one point. So you can't have it both ways.
So here we are, 1 week before Christmas. Steelers apparently aren't going to give us our gift this year.
They're giving us a lump of coal.
Now, here's how it plays out, guys. The Steelers sit at the number 10 seed ATM. A few things happened in our favor this weekend. A few things didn't happen in our favor this weekend. We are currently sitting in the number 10 seed at the moment. We play the Bengals at home in our last home game of the season this coming Saturday. Same exact time, same exact station. I don't know if it's the same station, but 4:30 on Saturday, we play the Bengals. Now, this is the team that's directly ahead of us. Yes, we are in last place, everybody. They're directly ahead of us, and they do sit in a playoff spot. And you just might have thought you were going to hear me say if they beat these guys, and that's not going to happen. Listen, even if they beat the Bengals, you still again have 4 other teams that are in this position who are right at this playoff spot. These teams are playing good football. The Buffalo Bills comes out and dominates and beats who they beat, Dallas.
They destroyed Dallas.
So come on, if you think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have, come on, it's over, guys. And when we were 7-4 3 weeks ago, we were still in the race. When we were 7-5 after losing to the Cardinals, you started to say, you know what, we're not in this, we're not good enough. And then when you lose to the second 2-win team against New England the next week, you started saying, you know what, it's going to take a miracle. We're going to have to have 100 things happening and start going well for us.
Mm-hmm.
And then after going out in a must win, come on, the playoffs started 3 weeks ago and they lost all 3 games. What come on,
Yeah.
that's where we're at right now. They lost 4 of their last 5 overall, 0-3 in the last 3. Number 10 overall. We now at this moment we do hold the number 16 pick in the draft.
I was just checking that out.
But we could all, I mean, there can be some good out of this if we
I'm looking at mock drafts right now and I'm liking this one website.
So we could certainly be in the top 10 if things continue the way.
That's
Mike,
what this team needs.
As any NFL team that loses 6 straight games, that has to be concerning to you, because that tells me that you gave up. And you know what? The one thing I hate worse in sports is a quitter.
Yeah.
Because listen, when you pay money and you pay a lot of money and a lot of your hard-earned money, listen, when you leave your house and you go to work, you don't want to do that. And what do? You go to make money. Okay. Yeah. So then you take your money and you do things that you're interested in and you like. And one of those things might be go to football games. So you take your money that you worked hard for, that you didn't want to leave your house, you didn't want to leave your family, and you take your hard-earned money and you go down to the city and you pay $40 to park your car. You pay, and for these guys to come out and give you the shittiest product that they possibly can, and to not even give a shit. Listen, I know the Steelers are on a short lease. I know they are. I know they are, because we've been dealing with the Pirates for years. How dare we even get this upset about the Steelers? But I wouldn't spend another dollar on this team the rest of the year, because this team gave up on you. They didn't give up on the team. They didn't give up on their teammates. They gave up on you. You're the ones that pay their bills. We pay their bills when we go to these games, and they totally gave up on you. And to say they didn't give up is
that's a lie. Yeah, that was a total. It was literally at the end of the half they gave up. They gave up.
Well,
they threw
their halftime adjustments, where that ever went, because they had a 13-0 lead to start the game.
Yeah.
So whatever we did at halftime should have made things better. We ended up losing 30-13. We didn't score since that point. 30 unanswered points. It's as I said, I accept the fact that if we finish in last place, that be what it be. It's been since 1988 or longer since that's happened. Okay, I'm willing to accept that.
I remember that season.
But I'm not willing to accept the fact that these clowns are just, I don't like quitters in sports. I just don't. You guys get paid way too much money. So now you're basically taking everybody's money and saying, you know what, fuck you, I'm not going to play, but I'm going to keep your money and live a luxurious life. That I'm not cool with. These guys, Mike,
they can't execute and then they quit. That's what pissing me off too. Like, basic football plays, they cannot execute.
They had a guy from their practice squad score a touchdown on us. I mean, this was not a good team that we faced. Gardner Minshew II is not a great quarterback. He's a quarterback that from the game that I just watched, we certainly should have been in the game with these guys.
Yeah.
We got blown out we got blown out to the 49ers.
What the hell is going on with this defense? One of the highest paid defensive units in the NFL.
Nothing.
Nothing.
They sacked no one. They got. When was the last time you remember this team forcing an interception? Maybe Michael Walker 3 weeks ago. It's as bad as it gets.
Yeah, it's Highsmith again, 0 tackles, 0 quarterback hits.
He made a third string running back make look like a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Like, Cam Hayward had 5 tackles. Does anyone remember any of those 5 tackles?
100 plus yards and penalties in a game that you're treating like a playoff game. Unbelievable. And as we said,
Omar Collin and Andy Weedle have their work cut out for them this offseason.
They have their work out for them for a few seasons. This isn't going to get better overnight.
It's going to take a while.
It only got to this point after a couple years of trying to get better. So it's going to take a few years.
Rebuild.
We're due for a Patriot type season. We're due for a really bad. Yeah. And we're like I said, we were lucky to be sitting at 7-4 when we were.
I'm kind of here for that. Yeah, I want the Steelers to win, but I just love getting fired up when they lose for some odd reason now. But everyone else's reaction, I know how I'm gonna react. I'm barely holding it together. I want to scream, rant, and rave at this team, and so when everyone else does it, it's a little cathartic for me to watch everyone else's reactions. But because I'm trying to like think of how to make this team better, and I can't think of anything off the top of my head other than just tank. If the players want to tank, just fucking tank. But like, boys, you go out there and you embarrass yourselves. Is that if that's what you want to portray to the fans, to the rest of the league, that you're a bunch of quitters and a bunch of idiots who can't execute plays, that's go out there and embarrass yourself off the field for the next 3 weeks. Go ahead, have fun, get embarrassed, and good luck in your future's endeavors. We're going to find replacements for you.
We're up 13-0. We lose this game. Just a side note. Under Cowher, the Steelers, after being up by 10 points or more in a game, were 108-1-1. 108-1-1. I haven't seen anything like that from this team in a long time. Am I piling on the coach? I am. Am I piling? But the thing is, it's not just I'm piling on everybody. Everyone on this team deserves to be piled on. These receivers were terrible. They run terrible. Come on. Last week, whenever Merrill Hodge said they run, if you pay attention a little bit more to this, it got worse. How it gets worse after knowing how bad it's been. These guys, they give up on routes constantly. The line looked as bad as it looked all year. And again, you're not playing this wasn't a great team. This Colts team was not a good team. They're going to go into the playoffs and lose in the first round. I promise you.
Oh yeah, I just find it past 3 weeks. Deontay Johnson touchdown every game, baby. It's like the only one.
Go. Then we're gonna have to keep.
There's the reason. There's the reason. It's DJ's fault.
Yeah, I set Derpy up for that one. DJ's catching touchdowns, we're losing. There is a correlation. The more games he gets a touchdown, we lose.
Games. Yeah,
we are.
I don't want him catching anymore. When he didn't catch for a receiver,
get him off the
we were finding ways to win.
Ryan and Derpy were like, Deontay Johnson sucks. He catches touchdowns. He sucks even more. That was just a weird stat I saw because they always say like, oh, so and so gets X amount of yards rushing or receiving, the team wins. I've never seen it to where a guy gets a touchdown and we lose.
This team is 7-7 right now, guys. If they win out, they could be 10-7.
No, they need to go 7-10.
Big if. It's not possible, Derpy.
It's not possible at all, especially with the way they're playing. No, not with these little babies on this team that quit.
I guess technically, yes, it's possible because
mathematically it's possible.
It hasn't been played yet, so we can't say for sure. But if I was a gambling man, I'd be willing to put a lot of money on the fact that this team is not going to go 10-7. No. I heard in one hand someone say if they won out, they would be in a playoff spot. No. Obviously, that would have to do with us beating Cincinnati, other things happening. Because there are teams ahead of us, between us and those teams that are in. We're in 10th out of 7. We were up. I mean, we were like 12 or something like that, or 11 after the game was over out of 15. So I mean, if this team that's getting worse, they're getting worse as time goes on. That's a bad sign. Their turnovers, the penalties, the bad defense, the bad offense. Chris Boswell misses the only field goal. He gets an opportunity to kick. Everything is bad. Mm-hmm. Everything.
Yeah, it's bad when Boss.
There's no silver lining. There's none.
No.
Good luck trying to find it. It don't exist. There's no silver lining in what happened.
The rookies are playing well. That's all I can. They're getting better as the season goes along. I'm sorry, that penalty on Joey Porter Jr. was the weakest pass interference call I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. How the offensive player touches you touch them, and then it's a 15. I mean, that's called hand fighting.
What the league is.
Is it so?
Yeah. But here's the thing: we're the team that's bad. The penalties have been affecting everybody. Don't get me wrong.
I know.
If you would go from top to bottom, penalties have been crazy. But here we are. We're the team that's dropping like a bowling ball from the top of a building. I mean, we're falling. I haven't felt this depleted and this negative about this team in a couple years. In a while, like I said, this has got to be the worst.
This is the worst Steelers
I've seen in decades, guys. In decades.
Yeah, I was going to say from what year? we went 6-10 to get Ben. That was the last time I saw a team this bad.
Even then it wasn't this bad. If you recall, I could tell you exactly what year it was. That was the year after we lost to Tennessee and they missed a field goal, and it was a season, and we weren't that bad. I as I recalled, Tommy Maddox was, that was the year he got paralyzed.
No, it might have been the year before. It was the year before.
It was the year that Tommy. I know exactly what year. It was the year that Tommy
Maddox
got paralyzed. But it was Mike. Well, because a guy got paralyzed. That's the only reason.
Well,
as far as the play went, I think if Tommy Maddox didn't get paralyzed, we probably would have won about 3 more games that season. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This is as bad. This is as bad as I could ever remember, Mike. In my life, this is 80s shit right here. Even
I didn't grow up in it, but I would have to agree.
Derpy, this is the 80s in a nutshell. These last 3 games is the 80s in a nutshell.
Getting your hopes up every week
and just getting destroyed
and being disappointed every week.
Yeah,
I mean that was what the 80s were for the Steelers. And when I was a kid, it was like a thing where all the kids kind of picked an alternative team, and that was what we did. We just kind of followed our other team because the Steelers were so bad in that time. Even a special guest of ours, they had this to say about the game. Shannon Sharp says, in translation, that's not the standard for the Steelers. The Steelers are about championships. We got to stop rewarding. Oh, he's above 500. That's not why you pay 8 to 9 million to be above 500. They pay you for championships, to get the team in the playoffs and to make playoff runs. When was the last time the Steelers made a playoff run? That was by Mushmouth Shannon Sharp. I couldn't agree with the guy more. This is somebody that I never agreed with in my life, but you know what? All of a sudden, he's making a lot of sense.
Yeah, I do love how no one inside the Pittsburgh organization ever talks about the 500 record, but everyone else wants to talk about the 500 record.
That's because we're not winning championships, and everyone likes the fact that we got a 500 record because we're not doing anything else.
I know, but I just want to throw it out there. No one in the Steelers go, "Oh man, we got to make sure we don't have
the last 10 years."
And the Yankees are so great. You know why the Yankees are great? Because we stink. The Pirates, because their team stink. That 500 record looks great to them.
But who inside?
We haven't won a playoff game in 7 years. That's terrible.
Yeah, but I just want to say,
regular season wins you
get
like
the Steelers
because that equates to nothing.
Yeah, but no one inside the Steelers organization is ever talking about this. We haven't had a losing season. They all get pissed. Tomlin, Rooney, Colbert,
because it equates to nothing. It's
because they get pissed. Yeah, they recognize it, but everyone else acts like it's a great thing. No, the Steelers, the coaching staff, the players, the front office, the owners, they all recognize that. Hey, that's meaningless. We want playoff success. We want this, that. So they recognize it. It's not like they're sitting on their laurels. But
here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. It's been like this the last 10 years.
Because Kevin Colbert sucked the last 10 years of draft.
Okay, so he's the only one. No, there's a lot of bad things that happened over the past 10 years,
he was
guys.
A huge,
you realize that.
Huge component of it. His last couple draft classes
he had some good drafts as well.
They declined throughout his tenure, and
they've declined since we went to the Super Bowl last greatly. I couldn't agree more. This organization went in the total wrong opposite way. They had a system going where this team was always improving.
Yep, that's what I was getting at.
And until the Green Bay Packers Super Bowl ended, that was still in place, and we were getting better all the time. Then you take a dip. This is a natural. That's what I'm saying. You win, you get a little bit better. The next year you get a little bit better. The next year you get a little better. Let's say you win a championship, and then you dip. And then you go back and you start again. There's no progression. Everything is downhill, and it's been since Green Bay beat us in the Super Bowl. There's been no uphill progression at all. Let's just say, in how many 3 times since we played that game, we've been in the playoffs, and we stink. This team stinks.
And they're starting to finally change their ways. In
what sense?
We went out. Well, we went out
worse. No, we're worse now than we've been in the last 10 years. So how is anything better at all?
No, I said they're changing their ways. They went out, were a little bit more aggressive in free agency. They fired an offensive coordinator in the middle of the season. That hasn't happened.
The problem was, Mike,
they're being aggressive in the draft.
And the quarterback. Now that the offensive coordinator and the quarterback are gone, we haven't won a game.
Yeah.
So those 2 guys, it's been the beating post. They haven't been there, and we can't do anything. So I'm beginning to wonder what's the maybe
No, but I'm just saying, like they're trying to, like you were saying, like, oh, we've been stale. Now they recognize that this offseason and they're changing. So there are some things that they're trying to do that catching up with the rest of the league. But it's gonna, like you said, this is gonna be a major rebuild that's gonna take years.
A couple players that are available. Matt Araiza, former Buffalo Bills punter, is available. Guys, Harvin with the 22-yard punt during the course of this game. Did it lead to the Steelers losing 30-13? No, it did not. But again, this is a problem from week to week. It needs to be taken care of. Another person that made themselves available over the weekend, kind of a tongue-in-cheek one to me, but Duck Hodges. He says hey. He says hey on Twitter or X. I'm sorry, and now the whole Steeler world is. I don't know who these fans are. I went and I looked, and I'm reading the thread, and these people are acting like Duck Hodges is king of the universe. But just by him saying hey, there's thousands of Steeler fans that are on board thinking that this guy is going to be a quarterback for us in the next couple of weeks. They think that this guy's going to come in and save the day.
Yeah,
guys, we're things are getting a little out of hand here.
Yeah, prime Left Bell and prime AB are not suiting up along with Duck Hodges.
Yeah,
and that actual good.
And that team did nothing.
Yeah,
and that team did nothing.
Did nothing. No.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm looking forward to the rebuild. My sights are set on the offseason. This season is done. Stick a fork in them. These next 3 weeks are going to be fun, but now it's time to start figuring out who we're drafting.
Be a blast. What are you talking about?
Oh, I'm having fun with this shit. You know me. The shot.
You always do well. You always are doing great when the Steelers are losing.
Of our Steelers.
Yes, because that's when the entertainment comes from, like everything outside of the Steeler game. Okay.
I didn't say anything.
I think no. I'm reading the board.
Why am I not getting okay?
It just popped up. It's okay, guys. Look at my Browns. Anything that's possible.
When the Browns,
Derpy, we need to disable the Wi-Fi at your house for the moment.
The thing about the Browns is this: you got to let them. They're going to fail. They never not fail. That's my thing with them. I'm not saying that we're going to do good, and I'm not saying that we're going to do better. But I'm just saying the Cleveland Browns always fail. They've never ever not failed as long as we've been in the Super Bowl era.
I can confirm this.
In the last 58 years, this team has never not failed. They always fail. So until this season is over and they're when one of their outrageous parades they do up. Remember they had a parade when they went 0-16. So let's say until this team goes and wins something, I refuse to think that they could do anything. They never ever accomplished anything.
They were your Super Bowl pick last week.
And you know what? In this team isn't even as bad. I never want my Super Bowl pick.
I know. I'm being
facetious. The thing is about this is the Lions. This Browns team is not even the worst if you think about it, because they're new, they're expansion, and you got a team like the Lions who like literally have never been there, and they've been here through the duration. So to go on about this Browns team, I guess is a little bit unfair, but they picked up right where the other Browns team left off. That's all I'm saying.
Well, like how many years can you finish in the top 5 and still not make it to a Super Bowl?
I don't know.
That's this Browns team right there.
Some numbers, guys. Mitch Trubisky went 16 for 23, 169 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Helmet Head comes in. He goes 2 for 3 for 3 yards. Jalen Warren
percentage.
Yeah, Jalen Warren. Jalen Warren.
There we go. I got Ryan to laugh.
Harris was 12 carries, 33 yards. Mitch had 2 carries, 1 yard, and a touchdown. George Pickens 3 catches, 47 yards. DJ 4 catches, 62 yards, and a touchdown.
That's why we lost the game. He caught that touchdown.
Well, here's the thing: say what you want, laugh about it if you want, but the facts are the facts.
It's just wild.
In every game that he caught a touchdown, we lost. So
the poor guy. He can't.
Not poor guy. He got to get the helm. We got to get rid of him.
Dude, he's out there producing. All right, fuck that
guy.
Ofa.
It doesn't matter. Mike, come on. Boz 0 for 1. On the defensive side of the ball, Landon Roberts 8 tackles, 1 assisted tackle.
He's a tackling machine. He's
steady. 2 tackles, 1 assisted
efficient.
tackle, 2 sacks. Ogunjobi 2 tackles, 2 assisted tackles, 1 sack.
Cam
Boyle.
Hayward fell on a guy 5 times.
Yeah, Cam Hayward fell on a guy and got 5 tackles out of it somehow.
I literally, does anyone like him and Ogunjobi talk about huge disappointments?
Well, Ogunjobi had a good game. He had a sack, and
that's true. He did have a nice.
I guess that was it.
That was about it. Then it went downhill. It went downhill fast. Like I'm watching Keanu Benton eat 2 people up in the middle of the field.
I seen him getting his lunch too, though. I mean,
yeah, he's a rookie, so I'm willing to cut him some slack. But he's out there eating up a center and a guard. So you're thinking, okay, that leaves Ogunjobi, Highsmith, Watt, and Hayward to make plays against 3 other guys, and no one's making a play. I'm like, come on, get the F out of here.
All right, guys. Just because we have to grade. We have to grade. Let me see on the board.
I might be a little bit harsh today.
Nicole says, "Hey, you're absolutely correct. I'm not saying they're going to win a bowl, but at the moment, yeah, no, they're doing good. You're right. Yeah, you're right."
Ryan just doesn't want to admit that he loves the Browns deep down inside. I'm going to try and get Ryan to have an aneurysm today.
So we're going to do our grades, guys. We're going to start at the top. I'm going to start Derpy with you. Derpy said he's going to be a little harsh today, so I want to go with him first.
Ooh.
Hollywood Derpy, you're going to
Hollywood.
You're going to talk about the positions by position and give your grades as you were a teacher in school. We're going to start at the quarterback position, Derpy. What do you give our quarterbacks? Of course, Mitch Trubisky comes in, starts, goes 16 for 23, 169 yards, a couple of interceptions. And then Helmet Head gets a little bit of time. Derpy, what do you give these quarterbacks?
A D+. Because at least their completion was good.
Okay. Yeah. I can't argue that. Mike, how about these quarterbacks? What do you give them?
Oh, man. It's Mitch did have 2 touchdowns, passing, receiving, but he did throw 2 costly interceptions that changed the scope of the game. God, bad decisions that, forced us to punt instead of.
He was wearing TJ Watt's cement shoes. I could tell you that.
Yeah, he was. Mitch can be mobile, and he was not mobile at all. I'm going to have to go with a D- only because he did account for 2 touchdowns.
All right, guys. Running backs, Derpy. Warren 10 for 40, Harris 12 for 33. Mitch gets the only rushing touchdown. What do you give these running backs for the day?
I'm going to go C-.
Mike?
F. They were ineffective.
That offensive line was bad too, so you better.
Wait till I get to them too. It was an F. It was an F.
D.
Derpy, the tight ends, the humping turtles. What do you give the humping turtles for their performance on Saturday?
D.
All right, Mike, the humping turtles. What do you give this group of players? I'm pretty sure Connor Hayward had a pretty what there was something lately where there was a penalty or something with him really screwed. Yeah. I tease him, man.
Muth had 3 catches, 16 yards. That's it. This team is F. All
right, on to the next. Wide receivers, your top 2 guys, 3 catches for 47, 4 catches for 62 and a touch. Derpy, what do you grade these wide receivers?
F, because of GP's effort on that one play.
Good. You know what? I joked over the past couple of weeks about how this is really starting to sound like my report. This one really sounds like my report card in school. Mike, what do you give these wide receivers?
I kind of want to agree with Derpy, but I'm gonna be a little bit more positive because Deontay Johnson's on a 3-game streak of touchdowns. So D-, and because Allen Robinson did hustle and fight till the bitter end too. He's showing that veteran leadership, but there's a lot of knuckleheads on this team, so I think we need more people like Allen Robinson.
Derpy, offensive line. What do you give these guys?
F to the infinity.
Mike? Hollywood Derpy says F to the infinity.
F. Just a lot of lazy. You don't want to talk about a group that quit. The 3 in the middle quit big time.
All right, over the defensive side of the ball, the defensive line. Derpy, what do you think? Clam, Ogunjobi. What do you give these guys?
I'll give it a D minus just because Ogunjobi.
He did have a sack.
He did have a sack.
Boy, this is what it's like when you're bad, huh?
Yeah, you're trying to find silver linings.
Mike, defensive line.
F. You want to talk F. 34 rushes, 170 yards for a 5-yard average. F.
Fair enough.
Derpy,
F.
your linebackers. Landon Roberts has 8 tackles. He has 2 assisted tackles. TJ Watt, 2 sacks. On the other hand, Alex Highsmith has he was invisible.
Brian Reynolds, everybody.
Yeah, Derpy called it.
I called it.
He called
Not
him
even
Brian
Bud
Reynolds.
Dupree-worthy.
What do you
Not
give
even Bud Dupree-worthy.
these linebackers?
D minus.
Mike,
Just
the
because
linebackers.
Landon Roberts' efficiency.
D minus, one because in Landon Roberts, he is steady. He is a metronome. You're gonna get a steady effort out of him. Watt, he had a nice showing early. Then after that, it just went to pot. So D minus. They were not consistent except for Landon Roberts.
The grade doesn't go up at all because of Tyreek Carter's physical play this weekend?
No.
Okay. Or Carpenter, Tyreek Carpenter.
Maybe if he would have showed that effort in practice and on the field, he'd be playing and not beating up his girlfriend, that piece of shit.
Not he beat her up a couple times. Yeah, her too.
The way I structured that sentence made it sound like I was calling her a piece of shit. I'm like, whoa, let's clarify.
Beat her up
that.
A couple times. Apparently, he
that is,
held her hostage.
Mike Muller at 2 dumb yinzers.
He held her hostage.
What? I didn't see that part.
Well, not like with a gun, but he wouldn't let her leave. He held her without letting her leave.
Yeah, that just can't. Yeah, he held her hostage. What? My God, it gets worse. I just saw the headline.
Derpy. We're
Derpy.
gonna go back over to Derpy for our defensive backs. Derpy, how do you grade these guys?
But D just because JP.
Okay. Whatever that means, I don't know, but let's go to Mike. Mike, what do you grade the defensive backs?
F.
Why does Patrick Peterson always happen to just be around the ball? Why is he never making a play? It seems like every time the whistle blows, he's there somewhere.
His side is always getting burnt, but
the thing is, like,
pretty locked in.
He had a string of games where he was playing like the targets against him. No one was catching passes, and then this game right here, he just got burned. He got burned. He's the one that like, hey, we're treating this like a playoff game. I'm like, cool. And then he goes out and played this.
Is Minka out?
Minka broke his hand.
Well, he already had the broken hand, but he was.
But
playing.
I think he hurt himself again and left the game, didn't he?
I don't know, but as we mentioned the other day, he hasn't quite done anything this year. If you really look at it,
yeah, he had 0 tackles, 1 pass breakup. Yeah, so he left the game hurt.
Derpy, I got to come over to you. Special teams. We had a block. We did have a block. We blocked a punt
for a touchdown.
But we did also miss a field goal. We had a 22-yard punt. Derpy, what do you give the special teams?
A D plus.
Mike, special teams.
I'm gonna go with a C minus. Igwabuki. Oh my God, I totally butchered your name. I'm sorry, Godwin, but he had those 2 nice returns.
Yeah, he's all right.
Arvin, yeah, he had that bad 22-yarder, but he also pinned them inside the 20. Had a nice long, another long punt.
You just can't have a guy and you don't know whether he's going to kick 20 yards or not.
It reminds me of early career Josh Miller, where he had the same.
But you know what happened?
A couple years in a row, but Josh Miller got better.
Coach Cowher ran down the sideline, grabbed him by his face, and said, "You know what, you little fucker." You kick the ball like that again, I'm in your ass. And you know what?
If I was
one of the best punters, well, that's why you're not.
I would have beat him over the head with.
Well, that's why you're not. In this, what did he do? He became better, and he became one of the better punters in the history of this team. So at some points, again, that's really irrelevant. We do have to move on, guys. Coaching, Derpy, Hollywood Derpy. What do you give this coaching staff, top to bottom, head coaches, coordinators, game plan, strategy, adjustments? Anything that goes along with it, what do you give the coaching for this game?
F.
Mike, what do you give the coaching?
D minus.
Okay.
Ooh, Mike.
Players, yeah. They showed signs in the first half.
losing your team,
Man.
having that defeated look on your
That's
face.
hey, the players, man. The players, when the players give up on you, I'm sorry, the players are little bitches. And the coaching was bad too. Yeah, they little bitches.
Don't get me wrong, I don't like a quitter anyway, but I don't give all that fault to them. Guys, the last one overall is overall. Derpy, overall. The overall. How do you feel when you walk away from this game on Saturday? How did you feel about things? What was the overall feeling and what grade would you give it?
You know, it's been the days of our Steelers the last 10 years, and this was probably one of the worst games I ever watched as a fan. So I'm gonna give it a D-.
I just never seen this team give up like it. That's the thing that hurts the most. They literally gave up. Everybody gave up. At least they pretend that you didn't give up.
Yeah.
They were blatantly giving up, and they, like I said, you learn a lot. You know a lot by looking at body language, and body language spoke volumes.
A ton of those players were just loafing around. When you had 3 or 4 hustling around, and it's like, I'm gonna give them an F overall.
How could you not?
Yeah.
This was if you're going to say this is the worst performance you've ever seen by this deal, you got to give it an F. I give it an F. You can't give it anything besides an F. There's nothing that you can give this team besides an F. And on top of that, every single AFC North team wins again. In a time when you have to win, this team was standing on the sideline looking like they had no fucking interest in being on that field. Some of them look like they had no clue it was going. When the coach looks like he has no clue and no interest, that's a really bad sign. I could, there's one picture that somebody said that why don't we use as our thumbnail today? It was the picture of Tomlin where he just looked totally disconnected. I say I let that Mike picks those. I don't do that. But if anything talks about the mood and how the game went, that certainly would be a good picture. What else, guys? Bengals, they come to Pittsburgh. Steelers' last home game of the season this coming Saturday. The Steelers are 7-7. The Bengals coming with an 8-6. I guess technically we're not out of it yet. Some teams they did bring in their playoff. They punched their playoff tickets last night. Ravens being one, 49ers being another. We, on the other hand, are going the opposite way. As I said, and now you want to ask yourself, do you really want to see this team in the playoffs? I say a month ago, I was on the fence. Okay, whatever. Maybe this team that found its way to scrap and fight and stay in these football games. This team, I have zero interest in seeing a team that gives up entirely. Why would I want to watch you? Why? I barely even want to watch you for the last 3 weeks. If I didn't do this show, I may not watch them for the last 3 weeks. The only reason I'm going to watch them is because we talk about it. So this team, they lost me along with a lot of other people, and it's hard. But you know what? But then you have Cleveland fans and Cincinnati fans and all these people saying, well, you know what? You guys sucked for once. Deal with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's a very, very valid point.
Yeah, when you put it into context, which I don't want to, because I want this team to win every fucking game they play, but I know it's not possible. Yeah, you put it into context. The season we're having, a lot of these franchises be like, oh hell yeah, we take this. We were competitive for half the season. Hell yeah, I'll take that. Yeah. But we were due for a season like this.
Absolutely.
It just sucks. It sucks, but we were due for this type of season. It happens. They need this to get better. You have to suck to get better. I mean, the Penguins sucked for 8 years. Then they went on a string of dominance. The Steelers, we sucked in the 80s. We had a string of dominance from the 90s up until about now, of where we were a highly competitive team. 2 Super Bowls in a 20-year span. 2 Super Bowls, a couple AFC Championship games, a couple decent playoff runs, early exits. But for the most part, we've been a very competitive team for 20 freaking years.
Around the league.
40 years, 40 years. We've been uber competitive.
We do got to move on, guys. Around the league, Baker Mayfield, first player in history to have a perfect passer rating in Green Bay at Lambeau Field. Baker Mayfield, 381 yards passing, 4 touchdowns in Green Bay against a playoff team. They win that game. Guys, we got to hit these scores. I lost track of time. Saturday's games, the Bengals win 27-24 over the Vikings. I thought the Vikings had this one. Their defense.
So did I.
Defense went 15 quarters, giving up 1 touchdown. They give up 3 touchdowns in the final quarter of this football game on Saturday. The Bengals win 27-24. Lions 42-17. Another one I thought was going to be a good game. You have the Broncos getting back into things. You have the Lions losing to the Bears last week. I thought maybe you just might have had a good game in here. Lions win this one 42-17. One game that you guys both missed on. For some reason, I don't know why. You both took the Giants here, but the Saints beat the Giants up 24-6.
DeVito, baby. I was rooting for DeVito.
You're right.
He got hurt.
And that's really all I was rooting for was DeVito.
Also, Mike, the Browns, they beat the Bears. This is another game that
the Bears had it.
The Bears had it.
DJ
They had
Moore.
it. They had a chance.
And then just bloop. And the dude's leg falling, and his leg, the momentum kicked the ball out of his hand.
What a crazy
feeling.
play.
The most Chicago Bears thing ever.
Oh, yeah, that guy, I feel bad for because he had it and
he kicked it right into the other guy's hand. Come on. That's a play that you'd expect to see by one of those two teams. And
yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The Browns or the Bears. That play was,
if that was like the Packers or the Niners or the Steelers, they would have they would have caught.
Another game.
Those franchises.
Another one of Chin's guys both dropped the ball on. The Falcons lose to the Carolina Panthers, a game that had about 9 people there. I don't know if you saw that picture that kept going around.
They had 9 people.
Well, it was like 18 minutes before the game, and there literally was like nobody in these seats. It was unbelievable.
Panthers for 99 cents or 49
45 cents. Yeah,
45. I would have won for 45.
I would have won. I was yeah. Panthers did win this football game 9-7. Again, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win over Green Bay 34-20 in a day that Baker Mayfield plays extremely well. Again, the first player ever to have a perfect passer rating, 158.3 in Lambeau Field. Dolphins beat the Jets 30-0. Chiefs and Patriots. The fans boo Taylor Swift in New England. Those New England fans, myself and Al Michaels, all have something in common.
I think she'll be okay.
But
using $100 bills to wash away those tears.
But there's a lot of people upset about this. The one thing, yeah, me, like I said, me, Al Michaels, and the Patriots fans, we're all on the same page. There's a lot of people, for whatever reason, that are loving this T Swift experience. I think maybe it's just a reason. Maybe some of the girlfriends tune in, and the guys like that. The girls, they bitch in and having them do chores and talking the whole game, standing in front of the TV. And I think dudes dig that. You know what I mean?
Now they're getting into it, man. They like, oh baby, you want to learn some football? Yeah, they can talk football to them. But if they're T Swifties, I guarantee you, these T Swiftie fans, though, they are taking notes, and they will be more knowledgeable than a lot of these guys' or a lot of their boyfriends. Because T Swift fans are obsessive compulsive.
Texans 19, Titans 16. It was actually the Texans 19, the Texans 19, the Titans 3, and Derrick Henry's thing on the back of his head, I think that's got about 13 points. I wouldn't want to touch that. I don't want to play that thing. Come on. It looks like one of them old like the caveman clubs or something. Fucking thing's huge.
That's where he gets his power from,
I guess. 49ers 45, Cardinals 29, the Rams 28, the Commanders 20. A game that a lot of people, there's a lot of opinions about, because the Bills stunk until about a week ago.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys were beating the Eagles last week. Bills win this game 31-10.
The Dallas Cowboys are now 0-3 against teams that are above 500 being played outdoors.
The Ravens and the Jaguars.
Throw that out there.
Right on time of the Cowboy collapse.
Yep. The game here, the Ravens Jaguars, the game where both teams wears leggings. I don't know what it is about
that text, dude.
Bruh. All I gotta say is this. I wouldn't want to tackle a guy who has nothing between me and them but a pair of leggings. And I don't know. It's just a weird thing. And they're like literally the only two teams that have pants like this. It drives me crazy. I hate it. Because I hate I don't know. I don't want to see guys running around in leggings. It's
like, I forget when you sent me that text, and I was like, what the? It's like it's too early in the morning or too late at night to understand this. It threw me off.
I could see wearing leggings. Patrick Mahomes. With that
Kermit Mahomes.
With his bitch hips and his All right. But anyway, the game tonight, guys, the last game of the week is the Monday Night Football game. It's the Eagles at Seattle. In theory, this should be a good game. Eagles at Seattle to play the Seahawks, Mike. Give you a
Let's
quick
go
rundown.
Seahawks, baby.
Give you a quick rundown of the divisions. It breaks down like this. The Dolphins are atop the AFC East with a 10-4. Coming in second is the Buffalo Bills with an 8-6. Jets 5-9. Patriots 3-11. The AFC West, the Chiefs are 9-5, only 2 games ahead of the Broncos with 3 games left. The Broncos are sitting there with a 7-7 record. The Raiders 6-8, and the Chargers at 5-9 after canning their coach over the weekend. The AFC South getting real tight, guys. Jaguars after losing last night. The Baltimore 8-6. The Colts after beating the Steelers 8-6. The Texans after beating Tennessee 8-6, and the Tennessee Titans 5-9. All 8-6. That division, the Jacksonville Jaguars do hold a lot of the tiebreakers, but nonetheless, all 3 teams with 8-6 records with 3 games left. And I don't know what it is, but I'm sure they play each other somewhere in there. So that should be interesting.
It's about to be madness.
And finally, in the AFC North, the Ravens, they clinch a playoff spot. I think they might have even clinched the division. I don't know because they're 2 games. No, they couldn't be because they're only 2 games ahead. They got their playoff spot. The Ravens are 11-3 at the moment. The Browns are 9-5. The Bengals are 8-6, and the Steelers are 7-7. Over in the NFC, Eagles 10-3. They play tonight. The Cowboys 10-4. Very watching this game very anxiously to see what the Eagles do. Giants at 5-9. Commanders at 4-10. In the NFC West, the 49ers are 11-3. I'm sorry. In top of that division, second place team is the Rams with a 500 record, 7-7. Seahawks 6-7, and the Cardinals 3-11. In the NFC South, Mike, this is the here's your division. The Buccaneers 7-7, the Saints 7-7. A lot of what happened goes in this weekend goes into this division because the Buccaneers had that big win over Green Bay. Saints, as I said, they beat they got beat. No, they beat the Giants. My bad. Falcons 6-8, Panthers 2-12, and then finally in the NFC North, the Lions are 10-4, Vikings at 7-7, 3 games behind with 3 games left. I do think if they win out, they do win the division. The Vikings do. Packers at 6-8, and the Bears at 5-9. And those are your divisions after week 15 with 1 game left. Tonight, I do know who won the picks. We're not going to talk about it tomorrow. One of you guys did win by one game. And if that other person does win their game tonight, it doesn't matter because of tiebreaker reasons. I already do have a winner, but we're going to let it go through the system and let the last game of the week get played.
I'm like a kid on Christmas Eve. I need to know.
Yes.
We need to know. We need to know.
Very good. It was a very good, as I mentioned, some of the games you really couldn't have done much with. I mean, Carolina, for whatever reason, took both you guys took the Giants. And so there's a few games. We'll talk about that more tomorrow. Pittsburgh Penguins, they also give up a touchdown. They lose 7-0 on Saturday to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Of course, the power play must have been nil. It was no point scored at all by the Penguins. I did not watch this game.
They are so lucky it's Steelers season right now, and they can just coast under the radar being a bad team.
The Penguins are back in action tonight at home at 7:00. They host the 12-4 Minnesota Wild, while the Penguins come in with a 13-3. In baseball, the Pirates acquire Edward Olivares. He's an outfielder from Kansas City for David Nadal, who is one of our minor leaguer outfielders. So the Pirates are building, baby. Watch out for the
Bucko.
Yeah.
You look out, boys. We're going to the World Series now.
Bucko fever is right around the corner. Christmas is close, but the Bucko fever is right around the corner. Finally, high school football. Tyke Hayes from Aliquippa, 4-star athlete and a 4.0 student, named Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Football Player of the Year for 2023.
Oh, congrats
to him.
And one other thing I do want to say, this little controversy. I came across a post and people were fighting with one another about this the other day. I found it kind of interesting. The St. Joe's prep school team that wins every year in 6A from the eastern side of the state, let me drop a little knowledge on you. Not only does this team have 59 kids from PA on the team, they also have 25 kids from New Jersey and 1 kid from Delaware. Yes, this is your Pennsylvania state champions. This needs to be changed. They need to be in a prep league. That's retarded.
Yes, they
Come
do.
on.
That's ridiculous.
And you're going up against public schools that you only have what you have. You have to figure
exactly.
out.
Yeah.
So
that's not right.
We'll talk about that a little bit more later in the week. But guys, Mike, why don't you go and tell everybody about the website?
The2dumbyinzers.com. New blog post up today about this great game. Yeah, so check that out over there at the blog or at the website, the2dumbyinzers.com.
All right, guys, here is the trivia of the day. Of course, we play the Bengals on Saturday this week. This is going to be a Cincinnati Bengals question. That's what we do. Guys, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Hollywood, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go.
Derpy.
What is the Carl Pickens clause? The Carl Pickens clause. Now, of course, he was a receiver that played for the Bengals, and I'm going to give you options, so don't get too excited, Mike. What is the Carl Pickens clause? Is it A, a morality clause? Is it B, a no trade clause? Is it C, a performance incentive clause? Or D, a loyalty clause? If any of that makes sense to you, take a pick, and I will find out your answer in just a second. We are live, everybody, 5 days a week, right here from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. In the show that we do every day, guys, we do upload over on Spotify and podcast form at 8 o'clock p.m. So you can listen to the show. If you don't get a chance to watch it, go check it out on Spotify. All right, fellas, your Bengals trivia question of the day is this. What is the Carl Pickens clause? Is it A, a morality clause, B, a no trade clause, C, a performance incentive clause, or D, a loyalty clause? Mike, I'm going to start with you. What do you think?
I'm going to go with the loyalty clause.
The loyalty, what does that mean?
I don't know, but I'm going with it.
Derpy, same question to you. Which clause do you think the Carl Pickens clause is? A morality clause, a no trade clause, a performance incentive clause, or a loyalty clause?
Same response Mike gave.
A loyalty clause. Interesting.
Because I have no idea what this is about.
So go with D. That's always the way to go, right, Mike?
Yep.
All right. So here we go. What is the Carl Pickens clause? You guys both picked D. Let me lock you in. All right. You guys are locked in. Here it is. The Carl Pickens clause is the loyalty clause. Carl Pickens is the loyalty clause. And what it is a okay. It's a clause to hold signing bonuses if players insult the organization in public.
Wow.
So if Najee didn't, he refused to speak to the media, so I'm not going to use him as an example. Let's say DJ comes out and he says something against the Steelers after being upset. Because of this clause, the Steelers would then be able to withhold his signing bonuses.
That's insane.
Or whatever.
That's
insane. So that is the Carl Pickens clause, guys. Mike, anything before we start getting ready to wrap it up?
Steeler fans, yeah, you root for the team to win, but just hope they lose out and get a better draft pick. Because if anything, we're seeing, like, we saw this in Kevin Colbert when he first came in. His draft classes were banging. It's looking like Andy Weidel and Omar Khan draft classes are going to be bangers as well early on in their career. So let's have a bad season, get some good draft picks. Think for the future. For the future.
Anything before we get ready to roll?
No first game. I'm not going to a game. Unfortunately, it's going to fall through.
Watch them not derpy.go. Kenny will come back. He'll win. Then they'll win 2 games in a row.
Breaking news. Mason Rudolph will start against the Cincinnati Bengals.
There you go. Everybody got your wish. We got Helmet Head on Saturday.
Oh, hell yeah, boys.
So I'm sure we'll win this game. I don't know if I really have anything. I know that it's 1 week from Christmas, and here's my thing. I say sign Tyreek Carpenter. I just find this amusing.
Terrible.
Well, he's the only one that wants to hit right now, and we need some hitters on this team. But in all
That
serious,
is Ryan at the Two Dumb Yinzers.
That's right.
but in all serious, it's bad, guys. This is as bad as it gets. I think that we're going to be doing a lot of these kind of conversations over the next 3 weeks, which is going to carry over into the off season. But I hope I'm wrong. I know it's rare, and I know that's doubtful, but I could possibly be wrong.
Let's see. Also, Minka Fitzpatrick is out.
Yes.
I just saw that pop up on the Twitter.
I was really hoping for that TJ Watt tattoo.
You can still get it.
No, they got to win the Super Bowl.
They just want it on Madden.
I do want to say thank you to everybody for checking us out. We
Yes.
appreciate each and every one of you. Always, of course. Guys, anything else? I'm speechless.
Cam Hayward's in concussion protocol. Minka's out. Mason's starting. If that isn't the recipe for a 3-game win streak down the stretch to make it to a playoffs and a Super Bowl run, I don't know what does.
For the Two Dumb Yenders, Mike Derpy,